An inaugural F1 Academy Series victory for Marta Garcia with a pole to flag win in the first race on Saturday. Unfortunately for her, some front wing damage in the second, but Hamda Al-Ghabaisi doing exactly the same, and it's really tight between MP Motorsport and Prema at the top with one more race still to go. And that's where we are. Fog has descended a little bit upon the track at the Circuit of the Americas. Final race of the final round of this year's F1 Academy. Well, thankfully, it looks like the fog is going to burn off and lift slightly ahead of this third and final race. But what an opening weekend, or what a final weekend, I should say, we've had, but an opening weekend in terms of live for us in the F1 Academy, Naomi Schiff and Anthony Davidson.
You're not completely wrong, though. This does feel like, you know, a dawn of a new day for F1 Academy, and the fact that they can be here in front of the F1 crowd, in front of the F1 teams, is just spectacular, and I think everybody's going to be really savouring up this last moment of the season.
Yeah, I've really some great racing, haven't we?
We have, yeah. I've really enjoyed watching these girls battle it out on track, Simon, but there's a bigger message here than just the action on circuit. If you're a girl and you're semi-interested, even an iota of passion to get into a go-kart, watch these girls, be inspired, get yourselves into a go-kart, because we want to see, one day, hopefully, a female in Formula One again.
Absolutely. I mean, the last time we saw a woman in Formula One was 1976. So clearly something's got to change, and I think that this is a great, you know, initiative to, as you say, not only give girls an opportunity to get in cars, but to create identifiable role models for young girls at home so that their parents see that actually there is a pathway for women in the sport as well.
Well, Marta Garcia made it easier for herself, didn't it? Shouldn't she? In the opening race here, it was a fine display. She's been the cream of the crop all year.
She has, you know, she's the most experienced one here, of course, as well, having competed in the likes of W Series in the past. So we expected that kind of performance from her. And yeah, clinching the championship yesterday in race 1.
What are her strengths, do you think, as a driver, Naomi?
Well, you know, Marta, first of all, in terms of driving style, Marta's always been really, really good in under braking. So I remember a couple of years ago we raced in Norris Ring, and she was the best of the best, braking absolutely latest. So that's one of her driving strengths. But I think as a personality, she's very dedicated. She's had her low moments, but she knows how to bounce back. She doesn't let anything get to her too much, and that's proven this season. I mean, she's had 7 wins, but it hasn't always gone her way.
She wasn't the only one that won from pole position yesterday. Hamda Al-Ghabaisi, great effort from her.
Yeah, in the reverse grid, they reversed the top 8, and yeah, so Hamda held on to that pole position, winning the race in fine style. She'll have a tougher race today, of course, starting lower down on the grid from the qualifying session 2 days before. But the one I'm interested in is Jess Edgar, starting on pole position today. That was a brilliant fight. She managed to topple.
Yeah, right at the end.
Right at the end, claiming pole position. She starts on pole today, toppled the might of Garcia. A brilliant last-ditch effort there. But so far, her race pace that we've seen in the first 2 races hasn't been that spectacular. So can she get her elbows out and keep Garcia behind her? It's going to be fascinating to watch.
It really is. That's one of the key things today. I mean, she's so young, and yet the display on Friday in qualifying, in that second part of qualifying, outstanding.
Yeah, that perseverance. I mean, that was, I think, the one thing that stood out for me, is that she just kept going, and she just kept getting quicker and quicker as she went, despite the fact that her tires may have been going off. Her sector 1 was quicker than anyone else's, so maybe that's going to work in her favor this morning. Get a good start, get a good first sector, and maybe she can just break a little gap to the others. But as you say, she's a very young driver. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, you've got 14 other girls behind you who desperately want that first place. You've got these big teams, F1 teams watching you with the crowds. I'm hoping for her she's going to be able to keep her cool.
Okay, let's just bring it up today. Still a fair amount to be settled, particularly in the teams championship, but also for second place, Lena Bula, who is in second by herself at the moment, but Hamda is just 13 points behind her. Abby Pulling had a terrific drive yesterday, coming through the pack and also trying to chase down Marta Garcia in the first race. She's the best place of the Brits, and as you can see, Jessica Edgar is on pole position and also inside that top 8. But as far as the teams are concerned, Prema it is with a 6-point, very narrow lead between themselves and MP Motorsport. As we have a little stroll down the grid now, we can see as we walk over to Jessica's car here, she seems cool and calm and collected. She has been, and when she's been to do it, we've been really, we've been pleased for her.
Yeah, so
Marta's here, yeah.
Marta's here. We're waiting for Jessica Edgar. She's pulling up alongside. Here's Nerea Marti. Here comes Jess Edgar here in the car behind you. We can silver the cameras, don't get run over. Jess Edgar there. But Marta Garcia has put on a great display. I mean, she's 23 years old, which is still very, very young. However, you know, she's got a lot of experience compared to some of the drivers around her on the grid here.
She had a difficult day yesterday, actually. Got caught up in turn 11, a bit of wing damage. Actually had to retire from the race. Easy for me to say. So yeah, a bit of wing damage. So she'll be looking to put things right in this race today. She's won the championship, of course, but she wants to go out by winning that last race and starting in second place.
See if we can have a quick word with her again. Marta's in the car. Marta, it was a kind of a mixed day for you yesterday, wasn't it? You had a fantastic effort to win the championship, and then it was a bit of damage, wasn't it, to the front wing that cost you in the second. What are you hoping for in this third and final race of the year?
Well, of course, yesterday was not the best in the last race, but I think we get it. For now, basically, I'm starting P2. I think it's a good position. Obviously, my target is to win the race. And, you know, it's going to be hard because some of them have new tires, but we're going to try to get as much points as possible for the team's championship.
Has it sunk in yet, the fact that you won the championship? Did you have the evening to reflect on it?
I mean, of course, winning the championship, I'm still like in cloud nine. Like, it's amazing, the feeling. But you know, we're racing. We have one last race, the last race of the season, so we'll try to take the best out of it.
Fantastic. Best of luck today, Marta. Let's go over and have a quick word, if we could, with the MD, Managing Director of the F1 Academy. Susie Wolf is over there. I wonder if we can just doorstop her, Susie. Hi, we're live. I was just saying it's been a fantastic weekend, hasn't it, for all concerned here. It's been some fantastic racing.
I'm very happy. For our first weekend with Formula One, we've seen some great racing. We obviously crowned our inaugural champion. But really the support that we've had from this paddock, it's just been phenomenal. And this is just the beginning, so the future is looking very bright.
Yeah, we were just saying on the grid that although this is the last race of the season, it feels like the dawn of a new day for F1 Academy. What are your hopes for next season? I mean, you've been through a whole season now. What's next?
The interesting thing is everyone reaching out to me, especially from the team, saying, okay, we're going to be there next season. They want to know all the details, how they can get behind it, what more we're doing aside from just the racing. So I think being finally with Formula One has just brought it alive from within the Formula One paddock. And obviously, all the teams being involved for next season is just going to take us to the next level. And for that, I'm super excited.
Susie, I tried my best to convince young girls watching this race today to get into a go-kart. What's your message to young females watching this race today?
That it's possible. There is a place for you in this sport, whether that's on track or off track. We're building out lots of opportunities on the off track. Obviously, Formula One Academy becomes a destination now. If you're a little girl sitting at home, this could be you on the grid. In how many years? 5, 10? It's 16 is the entry age to 25, and we want to inspire you to know that there is a place for you in this industry.
Thanks, Susie. Really appreciate it. Well done. A great final round we've seen, but a little bit of a moment on the way to the grid, actually. As we said, the fog just lifting. Not sure it was anything to do with that, hence why a few were out of position arriving here. And it was Abby pulling, actually, we think, with a spin. Let's go to Ted. What can you tell us, Ted?
Well, Simon, just reflecting what you're saying about the team's championship, Prema need Chloe Chong and they need Bianca Bustamante to score points today. So there is Chong, there is Bianca over here. Bianca's so disappointed after the stall yesterday. She said that the clutch just got too hot on the formation lap when she dumped the clutch too aggressively. Then that instigated the stall. Blamed herself for the stall, really, but did get going, made up 7 positions in 8 laps. So Bianca has pace in this Prema, and she's going to need to deliver on that to help Prema, they hope, to the team's title today.
Let's see if we can have a quick word with Abby. Abby, was there a little spin there on the way to the grid? What happened?
I think that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my career. Yeah, I'm just I know it's really cold today, so I'm trying really hard to get some tyre temp, and I just probably overstepped the mark a bit. But yeah, it's all, you know, they're probably warm now.
You've been chasing really hard all weekend. I know you'd be desperate to get your first win of the year. There was some fantastic driving yesterday.
No, thank you very much. It was a really fun race, and yeah, starting in a similar position today, so hopefully we can move forward. You know, after yesterday, I'm very confident.
Well, you've cured the tyres a bit. Maybe that might help. You never know. Well done to Abby. But there we go. What we expected from this final race?
Well,
gloves off.
Gloves will definitely be off. I think there's a lot of people in front of Abby here who are also desperate to get a win, but could be her first win. who knows?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Lots of fast drivers up the front there, but Abby Pulling, we've just spoken to her, she's got to make headway if she wants to win this race today.
Well, let's hope they finish with a flourish. Here we go then. This is the final race of the final round of F1 Academy.
8 different drivers have so far won an F1 Academy race. 11 of them have stood on the podium. It's been a fantastic effort from drivers team F1 and the F1 Academy team to launch a brand new series aimed at developing and preparing female talent to progress through to the higher levels of motorsport, both off track and on it. And whilst we're only just getting started, the 2023 season comes to an end here in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas, playing host to Formula One since 2012, featuring several corners inspired by legendary tracks from around the world. The Senna S of Interlagos, Maggots and Beckett's from Silverstone, Hockenheim Stadium section, to name but a few. It's a fan favourite and it's a driver favourite, and we have so far enjoyed 2 wonderful F1 Academy races around this 5.5 kilometre, 3.4 mile track, and we have 1 more to go. Race 3, 12 laps, about a maximum of half an hour of racing, and this is your pole woman, Jess Edgar, who took her first pole this season for this race 3. A fantastic effort from Jess Edgar. Alongside her, this is your 2023 Drivers' Champion, clinched it at the end of race 1, Marta Garcia. She'll start right alongside her. A mix of tyres as well on the grid. In fact, actually, everybody has the same tyre. It's a single compound from Pirelli. Some have newer tyres than others, though. Nerea Marti here has some brand new tyres to play with, so watch out for her. That will affect how things fold under the 12 laps. But here's your starting grid then in 15th at the back. It's Carrie Schreiner, the German racer for ART. Then comes Megan Gilks in her last professional racer before she joins Aston Martin as a performance engineer. She's behind Maite Cáceres. In 12th, it's Amna Alcobacy, just behind 11th place Lola Lovenfoss. Chloe Grant from 10th in front of the recent addition to the McLaren F1 Driver Academy. Bianca Bustamante starts 9th behind Emily de Hoos and Chloe Chong, who had a sterling defensive drive in yesterday's race. She starts from 7th behind Hamda Al-Khabaisi, our race 2 winner, from 6th. Abby Pulling is 5th. Lena Buller, 2nd in the championship. There's a really good fight developing for P2. She's 4th behind Nerea Marti. And your front row, Marta Garcia, your 2023 champion, and the young 18-year-old Jess Edgar in her first pole position for F1 Academy, has the best view in the house. We will get the formation up underway. Let's hear from Marty.
Last race, this is the one. We have everything to win it, so let's attack and go for it.
This is the one for Marty. She's had 1 win so far this season, looking to get another one before it all wraps up. So a couple of things to look out for across this race, as I mentioned, will be that battle for 2nd in the Drivers' Championship between this woman here, Lena Buller, who currently occupies 2nd place, but there is just 15 points between her and Hamda Al-Khabaisi, so the battle for P2 very much to play for. Also, the battle for the Team Championship is still yet to be decided. There's just 6 points between Prema and MP Motorsport, so that one will go to the bitter end. There's also a battle for P3 in the teams as well, between ART and Rodin Carlin. So we will keep you up to date with that. Slightly different conditions here though this morning. Quite cloudy, quite foggy at the Circuit of the Americas. It's starting to dissipate, as you can see. Let's hear what Bustamante is saying.
One last dance, let's end it on a high.
One last dance then for Bianca Bustamante. She will be returning to F1 Academy next season. She'll make the switch to ART, where she'll be supported by the McLaren F1 team, and that's part of an initiative that, together with F1 Academy and Formula One, where all 10 F1 teams will have 1 driver and have their livery on 1 car competing in the series next year. The remaining 5 who are not supported by an F1 team will be supported by other high-profile partners from F1 and F1 Academy. But we're just about to get underway for the formation lap then. Guiding you through this race is myself, Harry Benjamin. I'm very pleased to say joining me for race 3 is Anthony Davidson. Hello, man, how are you?
Hi, Harry. Yeah, very good, thank you. Just about made it in back from the grid to the commentary box to watch the start of this formation lap. Yeah, really excited for this one, and great to be with you as well.
just in the nick of time there. A little bit of a slow start from Abby Pulling as she pulls away towards turn 1, over 100-foot incline as you get up to turn 1, and she's made it there. She's got some fresh rubber as well. You can see the white sticker still there on those Pirelli tyres as they make their way around. But Anne, what have you made so far of the 2 races we've had in F1 Academy?
Well, 2 very different races, Harry, because obviously you had the reverse grids yesterday, and that really mixed things up, didn't it? So you've got, with all due respect, the slightly slower drivers starting the race at the front, and you had the entertainment from P8. They swapped the top 8 positions, so P8 effectively coming through the field, and that really spices things up. Maybe a slight tweak to the regulations for next year, perhaps, is that I wanted to see the second race with that reverse grid slightly longer than the first race, and it seems to be inverted as it is at the moment. Just an idea for next year, because I didn't want it to end. It was great, and we saw drivers like Chloe Chong in the Prema car putting up a real good fight with drivers coming up behind her, putting in a really strong defensive drive, whereas today she's going to have to be a bit more on the attack because she's lower down on the grid there in P7. So yeah, but I'm fascinated for this race today. This is the qualifying we had obviously 2 days ago, so a brilliant effort from Jess Edgar and Marta Garcia, the championship winner, of course, from race 1.
So yeah, speak of Jess Edgar there before she gets to the end of this formation lap, but we can hear what she has to say ahead of the race.
I was really happy. Usually quali is my weakest point of the weekend. I've struggled with that all year, but we've put a lot of hard work in on the simulator back at Carlin to do quali sims to try and fix that part. I think it's a really good track. I really like it, one of my favourites. I just try and be in the same place every lap and be consistent.
Well, there is Jess Edgar. When she was told she got pole, her reaction was rather minimal. She's a bit of a quiet character in the paddock, but you could tell the emotion that she was going through when she secured that pole. Less than a 10th covered the top 3 in the second qualifying session, which set the grid for this race. But Jess Edgar, for her first pole position there, doing some final burnouts, trying to get some heat into these Pirelli tyres. No mandatory pit stops in this race, and it's back to full Grand Prix style points. We had the shorter reverse grid race yesterday where less points were given out. Now it's the big points, 25 for the win, 18 for second, 15 for third, all the way down to 1 point for 10th, with still second place in the Drivers' Championship up for grabs, and the Teams' Championship up for grabs as well, between Prema and MP Motorsports, as the pit lane starts to get ready and ramped up. And what are the drivers going to be thinking in these final moments as they pull into their grid spots?
Well, they'll be thinking that it's much cooler conditions today before the start of this race. Just 23 degrees track temperature. That's around 20 degrees difference from yesterday afternoon. So the first 2 laps or so are going to be super critical to get those tyres up to temperature, and the brakes as well. Braking into turn 1 is going to be very much playing on their minds here.
Well, 15 cars will stand on the grid, and you're absolutely right. It's very different conditions that they've experienced from the first 2 races, as one of the lead engineer at MP Motorsport, Charlotte Phelps, watches on. But at the back of the pack then will be Megan Gilks and Carrie Schreiner, who line up in 14th and 15th. But on the front row, on pole position, will be Jess Edgar. Alongside her, our champion, Marta Garcia. Green flag at the back. It's all eyes to the lights and foot to the floor as we go racing for race 3 here in Austin for F1 Academy. A slightly slow start from Edgar, but she's just able to nip across to the inside and hold in front. She'll have that inside line. Marta Garcia forced to take the wider line. Nerea Marti trying to get involved as well. Edgar and Garcia running a little bit wide, and that has allowed Marti up into second spot as they now head downhill out of turn 2 and back into the roller coaster ride, inspired by Maggis and Beckett from Silverstone through 3, 4 and 5. But a nice clean start, and Edgar just about able to hold on to her lead for the time being, but Marti is closing rapidly.
A really important start there for Edgar to get that right, and yeah, for Marti as well, like you say, Harry, getting through, that was a critical move there, and looks really to be on the attack here, getting a lot of temperature into those tyres, on the attack into turn 11 possibly. Edgar has to defend there and does it wisely, perfectly done, and there goes pulling down the inside, locks up. Is she going to make this move stick? There's some off-track excursions there from Alcobacy, and that's going to carry on down towards turn 12. She's in the slipstream though, is pulling. She actually had quite a poor getaway, so she's trying to make back those positions she lost. Here she comes.
Pulling alongside Hamda Alcobacy then. Hamda Alcobacy in the number 4 all-orange MP Motorsport car. Abby pulling on the inside. She's been so good on the brakes down into turn 12, and she holds firm. Alcobacy forced out wide, but they've all been taking that line. In fact, some going a little bit further wide in the background of the picture, but it looks like Pulling and Hamda Alcobacy are still fighting toe-to-toe. Up front, Edgar has managed to create a little bit of a gap between herself and Nerea Marti, who has now got Marta Garcia all up in her mirrors. Hamda Alcobacy, here she is, still in front of Abby Pulling as we come towards the end of lap 1. Edgar leads.
Yeah, Pulling was the one on the attack yesterday in the second race in that reverse grid. She made lots of overtaking moves. Turn 15 was one of those, and Hamda Alcobacy, you could see she knew that was coming and defended into that very corner. So Pulling's going to have to think a little bit harder here where to place that car, but she certainly seems to have the speed. For me, she's the one to watch in this race at the moment.
Yeah, she's been looking rapid in every single race so far. Just behind Pulling, though, comes the red and white Prema of Chloe Chong, who had a great defensive drive yesterday. She's the youngest driver in the grid. She's currently battling with the Dutchwoman Amelie de Hoos in the number 5 MP Motorsport car. This is the battle for 7th position, coming downhill towards turn 2 and out through 3. Chong holds it at the moment, and de Hoos will have to tuck in behind. Very difficult to try and make an overtaking manoeuvre through this section of the track. But while they've been fighting, they've brought Chloe Grant into the fold. And this is all over 7th, 8th and 9th, with Amna Alcobacy rounding out the top 10 at the moment. But a message from race control for Nerea Marti, who is currently in 2nd, full start. That has been noted, and usually, and that's usually a slam dunk.
I did see a little creep there. We also saw that in race 1, Harry, from Marta Garcia, but she just about got away with that. But it looked to be a little bit more from Marty at the start of this race. Be interesting to see what the stewards decide.
Back onto the back straight. This time it's Amelie de Hoos and Chloe Chong still going toe-to-toe. Amelie de Hoos trying to make use of the toe. She'll have the outside line, making the move on Chong. Chong got her elbows out yesterday, but I'm not sure she'll quite be able to hold on to this position. Slight lock-up for de Hoos as they come through. The left-hander of 12, then the right-hander of 13 beckons, and de Hoos is through on Chong. De Hoos up to 7th, Chong down to 8. Nice move for the Dutch woman, but Chloe Grant in the black and white ART is right there as well. Lock-up from de Hoos. It doesn't allow Chong to bounce back, and now Chong's having to defend from Grant, the Scottish racer in the number 9 black and white ART car.
And that was an important move there, wasn't it, for the MP Motorsport, that team rivalry between Prema and MP Motorsport, just 6 points in it, so a pivotal overtaking, an extra point there gained for MP Motorsport by that move from de Hoos.
Absolutely, and if you are new to F1 Academy, you're very welcome along. This is the final race of the season. We have 3 races every weekend. We've had 2 yesterday. We crowned our champion in the form of Marta Garcia, but the team championship still very much up for grabs between Prema and MP Motorsport, and 2nd place in the championship is also very much looking like a tasty fight between Lena Buller and Hamda Alcobacy. Let's get a look at the start again. And
yeah, I think it was
cool to see that.
Well, look, just keep an eye on car number 1 there on the 2nd row. Yeah, it's close, but I do think it was just a bit of a jump start, a bit too eager in anticipation of the lights, which seemed to be held for quite a long time. But still, nevertheless, there'll be other teams probably putting in a bit of a complaint there. And to make it worse, she did make an overtaking move here around the outside of turn 2. So was that due to the extra speed she had carried up towards turn 1 because of that potential jump start?
Yeah, and this was a mistake from Nerea Marti as well, who was trying to, or battling there with Marta Garcia, and then just fell off the back of Jess Edgar. So that false start still being noted by race control. Yet to hear the outcome of that one yet. We'll bring it to you as and when we get it. But Marty is currently in second behind Jess Edgar, who she's now closed right up to, about half a second between them. But Jess Edgar is another racer that's looked absolutely rapid this weekend. Half a second, Edgar leads by Marty, then Garcia, Bula, Hamda Al-Khabaisi in 4th and 5th, and that is the battle for P2 in the Drivers' Championship as well, so very much one to watch. Pulling is in 6th, the hosts, Chong, Grant and Amna Al-Khabaisi are the top 10. And that's interesting, and no further investigation then for Nerea Marti for that full start. She's got away with it.
Wow, well, I think pretty lucky, and like I said, we saw it in race 1 from a few drivers, Marta Garcia being one of them, but yeah, they seem to be a little bit more lenient, and we see with the track limits as well, and don't forget, these are very young drivers, they're learning the ropes, and not just, it's not just all about the female category here, they're young drivers in their own right, on the stepping stones towards Formula One, and it's fantastic that we have this series created for female drivers, for younger drivers out there in go-karts perhaps, to see this as an opportunity, as a stepping stone to further their career and see it as a possibility. And I think if you're a little bit too draconian with the rules early on, then it might put people off as well, put teams off. So, we have to take it with a pinch of salt.
Absolutely, just getting another look there at one of the framers. It's Chloe Chong running out wide there, definitely a breach of track limits. Watching on as she's pushing hard in that framer, one of 3 framers in the field, all 15 drivers still in this race. This is one of the other framers in the form of Marta Garcia, your 2023 champion, your inaugural series champion, and she has had a brilliant run so far this season. 7 wins so far, 11 podiums to her name, looking to make that 12 podiums if she can hold on to the 3rd place she's currently in. Right now, if it were to end like this, Prema would win the team's championship. And under braking Marta Garcia, that front end looking a little bit wobbly coming towards the end of the back straight. Here's Pulling.
Head down and let's focus on our race. You can get these guys in front.
Abby Pulling makes a fair point, but we've seen this through the last couple of races of F1 Academy. It's not being watched as much as you would see it in Formula One, but that underlines what you were saying, and it's all about a part of the F1 Academy plan of getting these drivers to learn and develop throughout their careers. This is just the start for some of these drivers. There's a little bit of a difference in experience level as well for these drivers. The likes of Chloe Chong, youngest of the career, this is her first step up into car racing, and after yesterday's result, equaled her best career result with a 6th place finish. It was a fantastic run for Chloe Chong. She's currently in 8th at the moment, looking to pick up another point-paying position. But end of lap, or start of lap 5 then I should say, and Jess Edgar with a 1.2-second lead in front of Nerea Marti. So Edgar, after a bit of a wobbly start, and has had a pretty good run of it, as there's a little move further back in the pack between the Campos, that's Lola Lovinfos, and the Prema Bianca Bustamante. That's outside of the points at the moment. Lovinfos is 11th. Bustamante is in 12th. Bustamante has to hold on behind at the moment, but Jess Edgar's starting to pull away a little bit at the front.
Yeah, it's ebbed and flowed a little bit, hasn't it, at the front there? And 2 laps ago, she lost 3/10 to Marty, who was just gaining, especially in that middle sector that I saw on the times.
Come on, you need to pass her. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, good advice there from Bustamante's engineer. She does seem to have the speed, so yeah, she can get her head down and try and make some positions up here. It's really starting to close in this midfield battle.
It certainly is, and a reminder, if it was to end right now in terms of the teams, it would be Prema who would take the team's championship ahead of MP Motorsport. But we're on lap 5 of 12 for this final race of the season in F1 Academy, and its inaugural season. We do come back for another year next season, 7 rounds, all supporting Formula One. This battle brewing right at the back for Maite Cáceres, who is currently 13th, and she has got Megan Jilks behind her in 14th. Jilks having to stay behind her, and Lovenfoss and Bustamante, the two just ahead. And look at that wide line from Bustamante, almost a little bit too wide from the Prema in front, but she just about gets it turned in and still slotted in behind Lovenfoss as Cáceres and Megan Gilks continue to do battle. This is Megan Gilks in the number 12 further back. Two battles raging on. No points available for any of these positions, but what racecraft they're displaying and learning with every corner as they go. One final corner to complete this lap for Lovenfoss and Bustamante. Lovenfoss in the number 2, Campos, Bustamante in the red and white Prema, then Cáceres, then Gilks. That's the rear of the field, and then Carrie Schreiner is a little bit detached further back as we start lap number 6.
Yeah, I think Lovenfoss went for an inside move, just a defensive move almost, unnecessarily so I'd say, Harry, into turn 15. Bustamante went wide therefore to try and get a better exit. So thinking outside of the box, trying to place the car differently to try and carry speed elsewhere on the track, and that's why Bustamante was able to put a little bit of pressure on through turn 16, 17 and 18, but turn 19 isn't really an overtaking spot.
Jess Edgar, 1.6 seconds the gap she has in front, looking to secure her first win in F1 Academy. She's doing everything she can do at the moment to hold on to that. Nerea Marti behind, 1.4 seconds now back. Then Garcia, Bula, Hamda Al-Khabaisi is fifth, pulling the host Chong, Grant and Hamda Al-Khabaisi. That's the top 10. They are all on the point scorers. Lovenfoss still in front of Bustamante, Cáceres, Gilks and Schreiner, the 15 drivers still in this race. And we spoke about Megan Gilks a little earlier on. She may be in 14th at the moment. She came into this race weekend and announced this will be her final race of her professional racing career, but she's going on to pursue a career. Here she is, Megan Gilks, a career as a performance engineer with Aston Martin in Formula 1 and nearly doing what Fernando Alonso did last year and going up on 2 wheels on the bumps down the inside for Gilks. Cáceres is forced wide. Cáceres just about stays in front, but Gilks wants this position. It may well only be over 13th and 14th, but Gilks is desperate in this, her final race in her single-seater racing career before she goes off to join the Aston Martin Formula 1 team as a performance engineer and doing everything she can to try and pick off Cáceres, but Cáceres, the Uruguayan racer, is so far holding out in front.
Reminiscent, sorry Harry, yeah, reminiscent of the lap before that I was explaining with Bustamante, that turn 15 through 16, 17. Gilks kind of set her up by taking that wider line, but there's nothing you can really do with that momentum before turn 19. So she's going to be on the attack again. A clean exit she's had out of turn 20, that final corner, into the slipstream. No DRS, of course, in this category, these F4 cars. Is she going to send it down the inside? She thinks about it, late on the brakes. Can she get it stopped in time and turn? Don't go off the track. And brilliant stuff. Oh, it's been repassed. Great racing between these two.
Fantastic. Just a little bit deeper for Marta Cáceres I should say Megan Gilks into the corner. Then Marta Cáceres able to snap back at her. This brilliant battle. No points though for it. Currently over 13th and 14th. And this just highlights how bumpy this Kota track is. But Cáceres was really pushing Gilks to the limit of the track.
On the track and off the track, because that was, and there's a reason why it's bumpy off the track. You're not supposed to be there, but you could argue that she was pushed out wide, and that's why she ended up going there. Here's the replay of turn 1. Just couldn't quite get it stopped enough, carried a bit too much speed in there. You didn't need to really carry that extra speed. The job was done in turn 1 if you're at least side by side. So is this, this isn't.
No, this is back to live pitches. Back to live, yeah. Here comes Gilks. She's coming for it this time. She's not been pushed as far out wide on the previous lap, and it looks like she's been able to get the job done, but Cáceres dips back in to try and get a bit of the toe. Who's braver on the brakes? Gilks on the inside, Cáceres round the outside. They both run wide. Cáceres will have the inside line for the left-hander. Late on the brakes again. Is there contact? No. They just about avoid each other, and now Gilks will have the inside line for turn 15. Big lock-up for Cáceres and Gilks as well. Gilks runs wide, but she's managed to make the move work. Gilks in front and securing 13th place in front of Marta Cáceres. And with 5 laps to go, this is one of the best battles we've seen all weekend. Fantastic.
That was properly fighting fire with fire there, wasn't it? Using the same tactics on the exit of turn 12. Well, if we were going to go around the outside of me and go straight off the circuit, so am I. And you know what? I'll do the same thing on the exit of turn 15 as well, just for good measure. So yeah, having to rethink the way that we think about racing in this category here in Austin. And I must stress that it's not alone, it's not unique in that they're turning a blind eye to track limits. Other categories that are racing here as well, it's the same thing. It's much more strict in Formula One. So we have to get our heads out of that in many ways watching this category. Like I say, the Porsches that are also racing here, we've got a historic F1 race as well. They use a different racetrack, and I think if you just accept that, then you can get on and enjoy the racing. It's not Formula One standards. That will come, hopefully, for some of these girls at least, later on in their career.
Absolutely, F1 Academy doing all it can in just its first season to begin and to develop that ladder up to the pinnacle of motorsport from all of our drivers, but also the off-track talent as well. Important to remember, it is not just about those in the seats of these Formula cars, it is also about those working in engineering roles, management roles, tyre technician roles, anything you like within the team garage environment. Lap 8 of 12, Jess Edgar still leads, 1.6 seconds the gap to Nerea Marti. Then comes Marta Garcia. Really fascinating battle between Lena Buller and Hamda Al-Qubaisi for 4th and 5th. That's the battle also for 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. Right now, Buller would still hold on to 2nd in front of Hamda Al-Qubaisi. Then comes Abby Pulling in 6th. Amelie de Hoos is 7th. This is her here, coming into the left-hander of 15. Then Chong and Chloe Grant still in that fight, and Amna Al-Qubaisi just a little bit detached further back in 10th, currently picking up the final points-paying position for the time being. But that mist and fog from earlier this morning seems to have cleared a little bit. Where are we at the moment? Track temperature 24.5 degrees, air temperature 22 degrees. So where visibility this morning was almost nothing, it's cleared up quite nicely now.
Yeah, it has. It's getting closer to the conditions we had for the first race yesterday. And yeah, that would be a distant memory now, the foggy start to this race, or at least the formation lap. But yeah, just looking at the front of this field again with Edgar, she's had a bit of a comfort blanket there with Marty, who's just gradually falling behind. And I do feel this could have been a very different race today, Harry, if Garcia hadn't have lost that position to Marty right from the word go out of turn 1, because Garcia looks to be piling the pressure on now to Nerea Marti. We saw a lock-up from Marti into turn 12, ran a bit wide, starting to look a little bit more flustered with the champion right behind her.
Absolutely, that gap between Marti and Garcia, 0.8 of a second now, but it's been ebbing and flowing over the course of a lap. It was down to half a second at one stage, and then it's another 1.5 seconds back to Lena Buller and Hamda Al-Qubaisi. This battle still raging on. De Hoos in 7th, Chong 8th, Grant 9th. Then comes Amna Al-Qubaisi, who's being caught now by Lola Lovenfos, who is still in front of Bianca Bustamante. Bustamante hasn't been able to make that move stick. Then comes Jilks, who after that ferocious battle with Maita Cáceres has managed to cement her position in 13th place. Cáceres 14th and Carrie Schreiner 15th and last as it currently stands. But down the back straight then, this gaggle of cars, the midfield is where some of the closest squabbles are, but nobody quite lining up to make a move. Bustamante still hasn't given up hope of trying to get through on Lola Lovenfos, but I suppose it's trying to force the driver in front of you into a mistake now, and isn't it, in the closing stages of this race?
It really is, yeah. I mean, you see lots of cars close to each other and a few lockups here, and this is the move into turn 15, almost contact there, but narrowly escaping. Does Amna Al-Qubaisi, very close there. And when you lock up a car, obviously you're a little bit of a passenger, and at that moment you're out of control, and you're just praying sometimes that you are going to start to get some rotation, some turn into the car. And I thought that could have been a bit of contact there, so well done to the drivers for narrowly avoiding that one.
Yeah, narrowly indeed, but providing us with some great entertainment then across the line for lap 10 of 12 here in Austin, Texas for race 3 of F1 Academy. We are currently looking at the battle for 10th place. It's Amna Al-Qubaisi who heads them into turn 1, but she's run a bit wide. Lola Lovenfos is going to try it down the inside. Brilliant move from Lovenfos. Can she hold on to it? Amna Al-Qubaisi's off the road, over the bumps, rejoins side by side with Lovenfos, and in the background Bianca Bustamante's just watching and biding her time. Two don't really go into one there, and Lovenfos has to bail out of it last minute, but she hung on as long as she could. Amna Al-Qubaisi holds the position for the time being in 10th, Lovenfos 11th, Bustamante 12th.
Yeah, Alcabasi, just like you said, how he just carried a bit too much speed in, couldn't get the car turned under the brakes into turn one. That left herself vulnerable on the exit, but yep, threw the car off track, and we got a move potentially coming up here, a defensive line from Lovenfoss into turn 11. And we're going to get a switch back of the lines here, a crossover effect coming up. Yeah, sure enough. So this will be a drag race now between these two, down towards turn 12, with Bustamante putting the pressure on Lovenfoss.
Here comes Bianca Bustamante, but here comes Lola Lovenfoss as well. As you say, and a drag race down the back straight all the way to turn number 12. Amna Alcabasi is the MP Motorsport car in front, but who is going to break later between Bustamante and Lovenfoss? Lovenfoss on the inside, Bianca Bustamante on the outside. That'll become the inside line, but Lovenfoss is squeezing her right to the apex. Bustamante holds firm and gets the position. Can Lovenfoss fight back? Bustamante sees her coming, but they both lock up. Lovenfoss finds the inside and there's contact. Lovenfoss and Bustamante make contact into the left-hander of turn 15, and you could kind of see it coming a little bit. Bustamante manages to keep going, but that looked like it was written in the stars a bit, and
you could. It was all getting a bit silly, wasn't it? All racing off the circuit. And it was when I saw Lovenfoss go to the inside off the track at turn 14, I thought, uh-oh, this could be interesting, because I know it's bumpy there. Sure enough, the lockup came, and as I described before, that's when you usually see a bit of contact. So this is where it all began in turn 12, and, you know, Bustamante carried it on off the circuit into 13, and usually that would have been job done. But then watch Lovenfoss here, if we carry on here, off the track on the inside, and basically cut the inside of the corner. Bustamante wasn't expecting it, and there's the collision. Like you said, Harry, that was written in the stars.
Yeah, but Bustamante we saw able to get going. I think Lovenfoss, where she's fallen all the way to the back of the pack and taken a fair bit of damage there to her Campos. Let's hear what she said.
She didn't leave room.
I think that's a difficult one to call in terms of if there was room or not, and
I think if there was ever a lesson as to why we stick to the white lines, that was it, because it's a different type of racing. I'm trying to get my head around it as well on the fly here, as we're about to see another move potentially down into turn 12.
Oh, this
with
is
Garcia.
Second, and Garcia trying round the outside on Nerea Marti, who has fallen back a little bit further from our leader, Jess Edgar. Marti under pressure from our 2023 champion, Marta Garcia, in the red and white Prema. The two Spaniards going toe-to-toe. Lock up from Edgar in front of them as they come into turn 15. Marti and Garcia keep it neat and tidy, but Garcia's running out of time to make this work.
I like the way that Garcia drives. You know, she's clean, usually pretty tidy, and thinks about where she's placing the car. I can understand fully why she's the champion of this inaugural series season here with F1 Academy. So, you know, she's got to try and find a way past. She knows she wants to do it cleanly. She had a bit of contact yesterday and actually put herself out of the race in race 2, but that's a rare mistake by her. So right, where can we do this now as we enter the final lap? Maybe a little bit too far behind in towards turn 1, as Marti had a good exit out of the final corner, but it's not over yet for her.
As we start the final lap, Jess Edgar has about 18 corners to go until she might well be an F1 Academy race winner. She has yet to do that. She took her first pole position for this race. Can she convert that into her first win? She's got a buffer of 2 seconds between her and this spike here. Nerea Marti in second, Marta Garcia in third. Garcia still hounding Marti, trying to force her into some sort of mistake. Then comes Lena Buller in fourth. She's currently P2 in the championship standing in front of Amna Alcabasi. They're battling for that position, but right now it would go the way of Buller if they ended in 4th and 5th. Pulling is 6th, the host 7th, Chong 8th, Grant 9th, and Amna Alcabasi holding on to that final points paying position at the moment in 10th. Then comes Jilks, Caceres, Bustamante, after being involved in that collision, is 13th in front of Schreiner, and Lovenfoss down in 15th. Right then, onto the back straight. Use of the toe. Can Marta Garcia get right up to the back of Nerea Marti and try and move down the inside? Will she jut out at the last minute? No. Marti moves slightly to the inside of the corner and fends her off, and really now there's only a couple of corners left to try and find a way. We're hearing penalties coming through for Lola Lovenfoss and for Bianca Bustamante. But while they do battle at the back of the pack, there's just several corners left. And right now, Jess Edgar is scooting away. Nerea Marti in second, Marta Garcia in third. As they fight, that's now allowed Jess Edgar a clean route to take her first F1 Academy win. She's only got 2 corners left to go. Make that one. Jess Edgar, a phenomenal drive, just 18 years old. From Cumbria, Jess Edgar cements her place in F1 Academy. She takes the checkered flag and takes her first win of the season. And to the line in second, Marti just about holds on with Marta Garcia, our 2023 champion, finishing off the podium. Bula fourth, Hamda Al-Khabaisi in fifth, pulling, crosses the line in sixth. The host holds on in front of Chong, Grant, and it should be Hamda Al-Khabaisi who will round out the top 10. But Anne, well, that got a bit exciting, didn't it?
It really did. I was really impressed with the racing at the front there, especially Jess Edgar. Great drive by her. She did everything she needed to do. Cool, calm, collected. Got a great start. You know what? I'm not sure she knows that she's the winner. I don't think she knows she's finished the race just yet, because she is absolutely flying still, pushing the car through the S's. I think she's finally slowed down now. She was utterly enjoying herself, and she was flat out past the line. I think she didn't see the checkered flag.
She's so confident.
In the zone, in the zone. But brilliant stuff by her today, I must say. So yeah, a race winner finally in this category right at the end. But proof that, yeah, from pole as well. So proof that, you know, there's serious progression going on from her side in these cars. So yeah, fantastic to see. Marti as well, and Garcia, really solid professional drive, I must say, by those two. And yeah, I really liked what I saw at the front of this race today.
Well, when she was told she got pole for qualifying, she was rather quiet. Let's hear what she says about the win.
In there, Jess. That is P1. P1, you won the race. Amazing, amazing drive. Really good job. Well done. Fastest lap and you won. Incredible drive. Really good job. Well done. Well done. You're really happy and pleased with yourself.
not too much of a reaction then from Jess Edgar, but a fantastic win for her in front of Nerea Marti, who was being hounded all the way by Marta Garcia, but manages to get that second spot. It was only by a couple of tenths she edged Garcia. And Lena Buller, in finishing ahead of Hamda Al-Khabaisi, manages to hold on to P2 in the championship, which is really good news for her, because she won't be allowed back next season as she's reached the age limit for F1 Academy. But being backed by a Formula 1 team already is Lena Buller, backed by the Sauber F1 Academy. So I'm sure there'll only be good news for her on the horizon as they head back into the pits for Parc Fermé. And the beautiful thing about this, Ant, is we get brilliant racing action on the track, but the action that F1 Academy is providing behind the scenes as well, it's only just getting started.
Yeah, the access that we've had with Sky TV following this series this weekend has been second to none. And yeah, big thanks to F1 Academy and to all the drivers as well. Jess Edgar, you are a race winner. That's the race you wanted to win from pole position. There's nowhere to hide in that circumstance. You know, it wasn't a reverse grid. Job well done.
Straight over and a hug with Stephanie Carlin, the team principal of Rodin Carlin, and her engineer. And I think Jess Edgar will have a rather wide smile underneath that helmet. In front of Nerea Marti, and Marta Garcia comes over to congratulate her as well. She does indeed pick up another podium, so 12 podiums to Marta Garcia's name in the end. Not the most though, that goes to Lena Buller, who managed to pick up 13 podiums across the season for the Swiss racer, so fantastic for her. And there is Nerea Marti, who couldn't quite match the pace of Jess Edgar for the win, but she managed to come home onto the podium. And another thing we should really be able to give a shout out to, and we mentioned it earlier on in the year as well to Hamda Al-Khabaisi. After that win she managed to achieve in Valencia, after breaking a bone in her hand, she was told that she wouldn't be able to come back and race as quickly as she would like, but she managed to have the rehabilitation she needed and had that mental determination and came back in Valencia and managed to take the race win, which was massive for her. But she's actually been really struggling this weekend as well. She had a massive blister on her right hand from the broken arm and hasn't had enough strength to really grip the steering wheel hard enough, so she's been in a lot of pain. So a fantastic effort to win race 2 yesterday and cement it with another top 5 finish for her. So fantastic work from Hamda Al-Khabaisi too.
Yeah, I mean, there's healing the bone, that's one thing, but then, like you say, it's the muscle that attaches itself to that, and you need the strength with the wheel in these cars.
Well, let's hear from our race winner, Jess Edgar, talking to Naomi Schiff.
Jess Edgar, a huge congratulations. Your first win of the F1 Academy season, and you did it here in the very last race. How are you feeling?
Winning car racing as well. From last, so yeah.
Well, it's the 7th round of the season, and you've waited until now to clinch that first victory. How was it like? I mean, big crowds out here. What were you feeling in the car?
Yeah, it's amazing, all the big crowds. You don't really think about it when you're driving, but yeah, it's really good atmosphere here.
Now tell me, you're going to celebrate, obviously. It's the final race of the season. What are you hoping for next season?
I'm just hoping for a top 3 next season. I hoped for a top 5 this year, but I haven't quite done it. But I think this last round has really boosted my confidence next year.
That's fantastic to hear. Well, go and celebrate. You've got some time before you have to worry about next year.
Thank you.
Jess Edgar, your race 3 winner here in Austin for F1 Academy, chatting to Naomi Schiff. She waited right to the very end of the season, but she came alive and managed to get the win. And I mean, one of the stats coming into this weekend of Jess Edgar, she is the only driver to have started from outside of the top 10 in qualifying to race her way through to the podium. And she's done that twice in this season. One at the very first race, from 12th on the grid to 3rd, and then again in Monza from 11th on the grid all the way to a 3rd place position. So she manages to get onto the top step of the rostrum. And a big thank you has to go to the woman on the right there, Susie Wolf, the F1 Academy Managing Director. Without her, this would not be possible. And as she has been saying all weekend long, this really is only the beginning. This is just the end of the first season of F1 Academy. There is still a long way to go, a lot of hard work to be put in. What a fantastic start to this as well, as we head into the cool down room. And it looked like they worked hard out there. Let's have a listen in, shall we?
¿No podías con ella al principio? ¿Va muy rápido? La onza, pero desde el principio va bastante rápido. ¿Y tú solo con la barra? Oh, yo también. Bueno, ya al final vueltas.
A little bit of discussion there from the two Spaniards, Nerea Marti and Marta Garcia. Here comes Edgar. I think they all worked hard for that one there. And just seeing in the background as well the epic battle. It wasn't over any points in the end, but Jilks and Cáceres fighting hard.
You were like, tennis swimmer? A little bit at the start. And then I messed up at turn 11 and you caught me. Yeah. And I was like, oh no.
You got that up at the beginning, so do you know your laptop?
I'll do that.
You? 8-5, I think.
I think they were just having a little chatter about the start there. It wasn't the best of starts, actually, for Jess Edgar. A little bit slow off the line, and that was compounded really by a good start from Marta Garcia. But she kept her cool, she kept calm, and managed to hold on to the lead despite a lot of pressure. And then she was able to really get up and away from Nerea Marti behind. So a fantastic effort from her, as we are just waiting for the final podium celebrations of the year in F1 Academy. But we will be back next season in a 7-round calendar, all exclusively supporting Formula One, starting in Saudi Arabia and ending up in Abu Dhabi. But for now, it is time for your podium celebrations, and let's welcome out third place on the podium, but your 2023 F1 Academy champion, Marta Garcia, takes to the third step on the rostrum. Huge cheers rain out for Nerea Marti of Campos. The Spaniard gets second place, but she left it all the way to the final race. But Jess Edgar steps out in a Rodin Carlin gear, managing to secure the first win in her F1 Academy season. The British national anthem for Jess Edgar, your race 3 winner. And to give out the trophies, President and CEO of Formula One, Stefano Domenicali, who has had such a big input alongside Susie Wolff into this inaugural series, and the close tie-up with Formula One supporting this weekend, but ahead of those 7 rounds next year, F1 Academy supporting Formula One at Saudi Arabia, Miami, Spain, Zandvoort, Singapore, Qatar, and in Abu Dhabi, as well as the link-up between 10 F1 teams supporting a driver and having their livery on one car competing in F1 Academy next year with 5 additional partners. So that is all to come for F1 Academy. But right now, the celebrations can happen onto the podium, and they've gone full beans this time around, particularly on Jess Edgar, youngest there on the podium, just 18 years of age. Nerea Marti up there at 21 years old, and Marta Garcia, 23 years old, and smiling for the photos. And a hard-earned drink and a hard-earned celebration there for our top 3, and indeed all of our 15 drivers who have taken part in F1 Academy this season, and all indeed managed to finish that race as well. But the incident between Bustamante and Lovenfos saw them tumble to the back of the order. But we can now confirm the results of race 3 and the final race of F1 Academy in 2023. Jess Edgar takes her first win in front of Nerea Marti, and your 2023 champion, Marta Garcia. Lena Buller holding on to 4th place. That secures P2 in the championship in front of Hamda Al-Khabaisi. Abby Pulling in 6th. Then Aimee de Host, Chloe Chong with another run to a points-paying position in 8th in front of Chloe Grant. And Amna Al-Khabaisi managing to hold on to that final points-paying position. Megan Gilks in 11th with a battling drive with Maite Cáceres. She finished 12th. Bianca Bustamante involved in that incident with Lovenfos ended up 13th in front of Carrie Schreiner and Lola Lovenfos at the back. Both her and Bustamante were given a penalty. Well then, that just about does it. The curtain falls. Thank you for your company, and a big thank you to the F1 Academy team down on the ground, to those back at base at F1 HQ in Biggin Hill. And all that's left to say is, Marta Garcia is your 2023 F1 Academy champion. Who will take the crown in 2024? Join us then. We're only just getting started. See you next year.
Are indeed, and it will return if you enjoyed that this weekend. All 7 rounds on F1 weekends in 2024, starting in Saudi Arabia. We have Miami, Barcelona, Zandvoort, Singapore, Marseille in Qatar, and Yas Marina next year. The focus on Europe, Asia and North America. And I think a resounding success for the 16 to 25-year-old girls. Marta Garcia will of course move on to another series, but many of those will be back. 6:30 on air with a race start from 8 o'clock. Today's US Grand Prix here at the Circuit of the Americas. And it is Charlotte Claire on pole position, but the girl that was on pole position there, Jessica Edgar, picking up her first win of the campaign, doing it in style. All 3 winners in this final round of the year have come from pole position, and she sealed it in some style. Really pleased for her, just 18 years of age. It was a great pole position she stole in the second qualifying session on Friday, and able to celebrate with some champagne up on the podium. Jessica, wonderful to see you. Many, many congratulations. You've had to wait until the very, very last race, but the trophy's yours. I should imagine you'll treasure that one.
Yeah, it's a really special race here in Austin with Formula One, and I'm so happy that I did it on the last race of the year.
Could you feel the eyeballs on you? As we said, 440,000 people here. It's been really well supported. The crowd have turned out in force for you.
Yeah, it's amazing, all the people here watching. You don't really think about it when you're driving, but afterwards it's really nice to think everyone was watching the performance.
Jessica, you said before the start there that you felt more comfortable in race pace compared to qualifying. You put it on pole position in a last-ditched attempt in qualifying 2 days ago, but you look so comfortable out in front leading that race today. It was like you've won 1,000 races before. How did it feel from inside the car, seeing all the action behind you and the pressure that was on your shoulders?
Yeah, I was trying not to look in my mirrors too much, just in case I made any mistakes, but it was just trying to put as many qualifying laps together as I could to keep out in the lead.
Jess, it's not only your first F1 Academy win, but you just said to me earlier, this is your first win in cars. And after all, F1 Academy is a development platform for young girls. So how would you say your progression has been throughout the season? You mean, you're very optimistic. You said to me next year you want to be top 3.
Yeah, I think my progression has been quite big this year from where I started at the start of the year. I can't thank Carlin enough for all the help they've given me this year to get me to where I am now.
Are you getting any advice from your family? Because I hear you've got some family who are in the business as well.
Yeah, all my family help and support me and give me advice every weekend.
I heard you saying, Jess, that you spent some time in the Carlin simulator. What kind of things were you going through in the sim, if you can open up in that secretive world?
Yeah, on the sim we were kind of just doing qualifying sims because that was the bit I struggled with most. Like the whole year I've been all right in races, so that was what we've been working hard on in the last month.
But what aspect of it? What aspect of qualifying? Is it like the tyre warm-up? Is it what part?
Just trying to get a lap in early on in case there's red flags, or you only get 4 laps anyways.
Can I just ask you about the camaraderie within the paddock? Obviously, 15 girls between 16 and 25 years of age, many of whom raced against Naomi in W Series, some more experienced than others. Are they generous with their advice? Do you all talk? You're all great friends? This is quite something to be part of, I should imagine.
Yeah, we all get on well. We're all friendly. We don't usually give advice to each other, but we all get on well and we're all friendly.
That's drivers for you. Well done, Jessica.
I have one question to ask Simon, though.
Go.
One question.
Go.
We know that 10 teams are going to be involved in F1 Academy next year. Do you already know which team you're going to be with, or do you have a preference?
I don't really have a preference, and I don't know at the minute either.
Okay.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
No,
not giving anything away, but go and enjoy that. We know you will.
Thank you.
Take that home to the family. Appreciate Jessica.
Thank you.
Let's bring in the champion and also the Rare Marty. Come on in, ladies. Yeah, fantastic effort. A second and third. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, the two Spaniards just pipped to the post by Jessica. I have to say, though, she waited for her first win and thoroughly deserved it today.
Yeah, I think so. I told her, I said, well done, you deserve it at the end of the day. I think she did a good job during all this week. Also, she's really young. I think she has a bright future though.
You're able to put a little bit of pressure on Nerea there right at the end. I saw down into turn 12. Was there any hope apart from that during the race?
I mean, there was hope in the end of the race. She was struggling a bit, but also my team was telling me, like, no risk, because we obviously wanted to get the team's championship, just in case, no risking on having any crash or anything.
Nerea, you reacted very quickly off the line. I think there was a bit of debate whether it was too early or not, but you had a great opening stint, and then you seem to have made a little mistake that cost you. How was it in the car?
Yeah, the start was really good. I started from P3 and I managed to put P2 in the first corner. And yeah, the race was a bit difficult because we didn't have a good pace at the end. Marta was faster at the end, so it was a bit difficult to manage the end of the race.
It looked like the rear of the car was getting away from you a bit. I saw in the S's on the last lap a big oversteer moment, which you collected brilliantly. But what can you do with these cars in terms of setup? Is there anything you can change to kind of stop that from being an issue in the future?
Yeah, we were working a lot with the team about the car. We can change a lot of things, but yeah, just we have a bit of oversteer at the end of the race that was enough to lose the car a bit on T4, T5, T6, that it's a corners in a high speed. Yeah.
quick word on the teams. You've won that as well. It's a double for you, Marta. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Obviously, with the win yesterday, you know, so happy, but also, you know, the team boss, which is here, he was like, okay, we need to win now the team's championship, you know, and just wanted to do the best out of it. I think that's all we could do, honestly. And I think my teammates was P8, also Chloe and Bianca. I don't know really what happened, but I think we did a good job. And obviously, thanks to Prema for everything they've done this year.
Well, Marta, we know, unfortunately, you can't come back next year, although it seems there'll be some support from F1 Academy to give you, you know, some push towards, you know, other racing series. But Nerea, do you already know if you're going to be on the grid next year? Is this where you want to be next year?
We don't know yet, but obviously we are pushing to do another year in F1 Academy. I think will be a good opportunity to share all the weekends with F1, and I think will be a great opportunity to do again this championship.
Do you know where you're going to be next year, and when can it be announced?
Not really, not yet. I think we might know something probably in the next weeks, maybe earlier, maybe later. I don't know yet. Let's see.
Congratulations, ladies. We'll let you go and enjoy that. Can you celebrate tonight? Will you going home, or?
Yeah, right.
He's always thinking of the party.
She's going home.
Trust me, I know these two girls. They will be celebrating tonight.
Well, enjoy it. You've deserved it. It's great to finish the season with the podium, and you've both done that. And congratulations on a fine championship performance, Marta. Really good stuff. We'll let them go and enjoy that. But yeah, I mean, you've got to take your hats off, haven't you, to Marta? You said you raced against her, you know, her strengths. And it looks like they get the backing, don't they, from the F1 Academy as they move on to greener pastures if you've won this.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, I think for Marta it's slightly bittersweet because obviously it's been a fantastic season for her, but because it's not been broadcast live this season, you also don't have the 10 teams which are coming in next year. So I think for her, slightly unfortunate that she can't benefit from all of that next year as well. But, you know, I get it. It's a feeder series. You need to make space for new talent to come through. Nerea Marti, on the other hand, is also an extremely talented driver, and I actually expected a little bit more from her this season because, you know, what we saw from her in W Series was a lot of very quick performances, very strong driver. So I still think there's a lot of future talent to be watched for next season.
As Danica was saying, this should be used as the stepping stone. You shouldn't be seen as the final destination for these drivers because, you know, there are so many other series, as we're saying, that they'll want to get into.
Absolutely. This series, and we can't lose sight of the fact, this is waving the flag for, look, this is raise attention and awareness for younger female karters out there, or even girls that are interested in racing, don't know where to go. You know, you can look to this as a stepping stone, as also a way that you can get into racing as a female. It can be done. Look at this fantastic racing we had here today with these females in this unique category, and use it as aspiration, inspiration as well. And pester your parents, get in a go-kart. You can be here on the grid having all this fun like these girls were today, and use that to progress one day, hopefully, into Formula One.
Is that what you both did? Pester, pester, pester? Is that the way to do it? Pester your parents?
Absolutely, but I think besides even pestering your parents, I think it's important for parents to be watching F1 Academy, because even some households still don't recognize that this is a sport that women can compete in as well. So, of course, pester your parents, pester everyone you can, get what you want, go after your dreams. So, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the key moments out on track there. As we said, and we're going to see it. We've seen it so often in the Formula One, and well, we did last year. Carlos Sainz punted off by George Russell. That was the start. Clean one for Jessica.
Yeah, it was. I mean, she had to hold on to that lead into turn one, and she did it brilliantly well because she knew that Garcia was going to be a serious threat in this race, and that's the moment where Marti got in front of Garcia. And I think at that moment, although she had a great start, did Nerea Marti, she didn't quite have the same speed as Garcia long-term in the race, and that helped Edgar in many ways. But a brilliant race by Jess.
I mean, it's a good track for them to race on, this one. I mean, as we were saying, it's got a mixture of corners. Do you think it's one of Tilke's best tracks?
Honestly, it's a track I've never raced on, but I've done loads of laps on a simulator, and it's a track that if tomorrow you said to me, you've got a car, which track you want to drive on, this is one that I really want to try. I think for these young drivers, it's also great when you have that much room for error. You know, there's a lot of runoff on this track, and sometimes when you're learning, when you're developing yourself, it's better to have a little bit of space to try things, to push the limits, to test the boundaries.
Actually, it wasn't only Herman Tilke that designed it. He was part of a committee. Exactly. I think actually Alex Wirtz was one of the drivers that got involved. He's into circuit design as well, particularly on the first part of the track, the first sector, that brilliant S's. And sometimes it takes a driver, the knowledge we have from inside the car, to go, no, these are cool corners.
Absolutely.
Stuff like this, a slalom section equivalent to skiing, it feels good inside the car. It's not an overtaking spot, but it's somewhere where you really need to carry speed, and yeah, it's a fun element of this track.
And
the
then
thing
you
I
get to
don't
sector
like about
3.
this circuit, the thing I don't like about this circuit are the track limits. It's not necessarily all down to the drivers. Change the track, bring some gravel in, please, because I don't like seeing cars race off track.
Yeah, a facility built by the same company that actually built the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, some great American football stadiums. And it is one to come to, as we said it. It's got 440,000 people here this weekend. It always gets a fabulous turnout. Right, let's head to Ted. Where are you, Ted?
Thank you very much, Simon. I'm down in the F1 Academy paddock, where we are celebrating, if that's the right word, with René Rossin, who's, as any motorsport fan will know, is the boss of Prema. Now, Prema, one of the champion teams today in F1 Academy and champion teams throughout motorsport, junior motorsport. Was it tight, René, going in? It was 6 points going into this race. Did you think you had it all under control all the way?
For sure, it's been quite a tight championship, especially for the team ranking. We arrived here in Austin that we were nearly 28 points behind. We managed to win the team championship thanks to our drivers. Everybody did an amazing job, and I'm really proud of all of them. Marta yesterday celebrated with winning the championship, which is a great result for her, and we are looking forward for a great fruit of the championship.
Tell us about Marta's qualities and the consistency she's shown this year.
For sure, she demonstrated to be really consistent, doing very little mistakes, and really well prepared, and that is also very important in junior formula.
And tell us about the championship itself, René. Obviously, we see you week in, week out in Formula 2 and Formula 3, et cetera, et cetera. I think they're just trying to move the car around here. Marta's car is just coming out, so we'll let them go to park. We're not getting in the way of all of that.
But now.
Yeah, how much of an effort has it been to get this all up and running with 3 cars and then carry on?
For sure, it's been quite a big amount of work, especially at the beginning, because the championship started quite late. Let's say at the beginning of the year, we were being selected to run these 3 cars, so we started with a new group that we need to start working together. As you know, in a team, the most important is the people working well together with drivers, engineers, and so on. So it's been a great work from everybody, from all the single mechanics and engineers. But at the end, we arrive here in Austin with the final race together with Formula 1 on a great success and a great result.
Okay, well, listen, congratulations. It's yet another championship win for the Prema squad.
Yes, absolutely. It's been quite a good day. Even today, we celebrated the team championship on the Formula Regional after having celebrated last weekend with Kimi Antonelli the title on Drivers' Championship. So it's a very good day today for Prema.
Indeed, yes. Kimi Antonelli, of course, another bright light under the Prema band. A Mercedes young driver who's destined for greater things later down the line. René, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations. Simon, back to you.
He's absolutely one to watch. We talked to Susie about this yesterday. It's about having the backing of these 5 very established F2 teams.
Absolutely, and look, Prema is a state-of-the-art team. It's one of the teams that, as a young karter, as a young driver, you hope to be able to be a part of. And you know, the fact that they can work with these types of teams in this type of championship. I mean, again, the goal is not for them to stay in F1 Academy. It's for them to climb the ranks, hopefully get into F3, F2, or whatever the pathway is that they want to do. And to have the knowledge of these teams of what it takes. They know the drivers that come through F3, F2 and make it. So they can really be giving them great advice to know what position to put them in, what to focus on to get them to where they want to go.
Some fabulous on-track battles. Anthony's made his way to the SkyPad to do some further analysis.
Yeah, indeed, Simon. So, yes, we're going to look at Marty here and the red lights on. There was some debate, like we said. I wondered why she looked at us quizzically when we put that to her. But if I roll this on and just draw another line here as well, just for a reference to see where her car is. Does she move before the lights go out? So still on red. Oh, hold on, I'll just undo that one. Still on red, and yeah, just so let's see if there's any movement. I'll get the red lights there. Sorry, it is quite hard to navigate, and the white line's not a great reference. So if I just roll that on, does she move before the red lights go out? I don't see it. So apologies, Nerea. You didn't jump the start. I called it wrong at the time, and that's why she looked a little bit miffed when we put that to her. But a great start nevertheless, and round the outside, cutting back on the inside of Garcia. to get her on the exit of that corner as everyone starts running wide. We then, later on, we saw a crash between Lovenfoss and Bustamante. Now, the reason for this is clearly, look, Lovenfoss driving off the circuit. Bustamante's got the inside, she thinks, got the inside covered, but driving off of the circuit was the result of this incident here in turn 15. So, you know, we expect that F1 drivers, of course, don't do stuff like that, and you would be having lots of penalties, and you know, we'd be throwing the book at them if we saw this kind of thing. But these are young drivers, let's not forget, and they're learning. So a lesson learned there for both of these drivers, but mainly for Lovenfoss. She did actually get a 5-second penalty after that one. We then saw as well some great racing here off track. Being pushed off circuit here was Gilks, and the car bouncing awkwardly and aggressively with Cáceres, the fight down towards turn 12. That fight continued off the circuit again, but the next lap around, we saw again down towards turn 1, the fight continued, and this was an interesting one. So Gilks puts it down the inside, doesn't lock up, but I think at this point here, it was unnecessary to carry so much speed, and there's so much distance between the two cars. If you're making a move like that, it's better to be closer to the car that you're racing against, because what you're allowing that car to do is cross over the line on the exit and come back at you heading down the hill, and that's exactly how that one played out. So yeah, it's interesting in many ways as well to watch drivers that are less experienced, or some of them, you know, this is their first season in car racing, so we're used to the quality of Formula One drivers, you know, these honed professionals, and we expect that kind of quality from them. And it's interesting to see the things we've learnt as drivers and as pundits over the time in watching Formula One, and put that into practice in analysing a feeder series like this one. Back to you, Simon.
And actually, there's something really refreshing about watching the rawness of it all. But evidence, yeah, further evidence there of the bouncing and the bumps on this track that we might see later.
Yeah, that didn't look like it would have been good for Megan Gilks' back. You don't ever want to be flying, but as you say, it's refreshing to see them pushing the limits, really trying to find ways around. You could see Lola Lovenfoss, that moment that happened there between her and Bianca Bustamante. It was almost inevitable. It had been building for so many laps that they were trying to get past each other, and you know, I think there was a bit of frustration from Lola's side and trying too hard to get past. But as Anne very well put there, these are young drivers who are learning. This is how you learn. You learn from your mistakes, and yeah, it was exciting racing out there.
How do you sum it up then? This inaugural season of F1 Academy, Naomi. Obviously, it's back on 7 F1 weekends next year. There's going to be even more eyeballs on them.
Yeah, look, I think these kinds of initiatives are doing great things for not just drivers, female drivers in the sport, but for women in the sport as a whole. There's obviously a huge ecosystem of women in the paddock that are also being inspired by these types of things, and I can't say enough how great it is. And obviously, we don't want women's sports, females in the sport, to be segregated from racing against men. That's what we ultimately want to see them doing. But to give them this kind of platform, especially next year, 7 races in front of F1 teams, that's just going to be fantastic to further their careers.
Thanks, Naomi. Appreciate your company all weekend.
Simon.
So there we go. We're back from 6:30 with lights out for the F1 race at 8 o'clock this evening. But the inaugural series of F1 Academy is at an end, and it is Marta Garcia who is the first ever champion. From us all here, bye for now.